This is Peter Voogd, founder of RealVIPSuccess.com and creator of the Game Changer System for Excellence. Today we're going to talk about the 5 fail-proof steps for everyday improvement, and I'm really going to challenge you to step it up. I've been watching a lot of documentaries and autobiographies this last week. I've watched Elon Musk, Richard Branson, Ayn Rand, Steve Jobs, and it got me thinking, what's the difference between somebody greeting at Walmart or someone who just works to pay the bills and is stressed out because they can't afford something, and those people making 6 and 7 figures and making big impacts in the world? And I realized it comes down to one thing, and it's the standards they set for themselves and they accept for themselves, because life will always organize around the standards you set for yourself. And I've created a system that will cause you to elevate your standards and to separate yourself from the majority and start living extraordinary. Remember, life does not get easier, you just get better. You just go through challenges to gain more perspective and to gain a better perspective of how to become successful and how to design your ideal life. So watching these autobiographies and just interacting with people in everyday life, it just comes down to standards. It's not the past, because some of the most successful people on the planet had the roughest past. So it really boils down to what they accept for themselves and what they feel they're worthy of. So I want to remind you, the only way to get better results or improve your circumstances is to do something different. If you're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, they call that insanity. So I know you may have heard that, but think about if you're really doing things differently to get different results, okay? So let's go through these 5 fail-proof ways to improve everyday life and to really increase income, wealth, success, happiness, excitement, and energy, okay? So number 1, like I talked about, raise your standards. Pick 2 or 3 areas in your life where you want to raise your standards and you want to improve. Become aware of what you're tolerating and make the definite decision to raise your standards in those areas. So what are you currently tolerating that's not serving you well? What are your standards for income? There's some people that if they're not making 6 figures, they're freaking out. They're going to find a way to make 6 figures. Some people's level of comfort is $1 million a year. Some people, when they're not making $1 million, they do whatever they can to make $1 million because that's their comfortable level. Sadly, some people's standards are just getting by. If they just have a job, that's okay. And you need to not tolerate that. And I'm going to tell you how to handle these. So number 1, pick some areas to raise your standards. Number 2, come up with reasons why you want to raise your standards. It doesn't stop with raising your standards. That's where it starts. So you need to find empowering reasons to raise your standards and to elevate your game in that area. So why do you want to raise your standards in those areas? Only you know that, but you have to really figure that out. And people that raise their standards, they don't leave it up to chance. They stack reasons of why, and that gives them stronger motivation, more clarity on why they're doing. So really put some thought into why you should turn your shoulds into musts, because reasons come first and then results come second. Okay? Some people are waiting for results before they have reasons, and it doesn't work that way. So number 2 is reasons. Number 3, after you come up with reasons, you need to start setting some rituals, because rituals define us. All results in your life start with standards that are followed up with rituals. Successful people, rituals and routines for everything they do. They don't leave it up to how they feel or luck or other people. They assure their success and they guarantee their progress by creating rituals. And success is not about luck. I just Facebook and tweeted the other day, the reason why most people aren't advancing in their life is because when opportunity knocks at the door, they're in the back looking for 4-leaf clovers, right? That's most of our society. No, success is purposely designed through rituals. And a ritual is something you do consistently that has been proven to get results. Okay, so rituals is number 3. Number 4 is role models. Once you define rituals, you need to find people to model. Who raises your standards and who's playing the game of life at a higher level than you are currently? You need to start finding role models to emulate and to copy and to reach out to and to study and to absorb yourself in. Also, study those who have the standards you're striving for. Read about them, listen to audios about them, watch them. There's so many videos on YouTube. There's so many audios online and books you can buy. Narrow down your focus to role models that match the life you want or have done things that you strive to do, and study them. Because your standards are already raising, you already have the reasons, the rituals are in place. Now the role models that help you elevate at a whole new level of standards and excitement. So absorb yourself in those people who have elevated their standards to elevate your standards, and eventually the standards you thought were too high are now normal for you, okay? So that's number 4. Lastly, you can't have all these other ones without number 5. Relentless discipline. Relentless discipline. Ultimately, discipline creates the lifestyle, and consistent discipline separates the extraordinary from the average. Self-discipline is doing the right thing whether you feel like it or not. Brian Tracy says it's the single biggest skill to learn if you want to become successful. So start with the little disciplines. Like Jim Rohn says, a few simple disciplines practiced daily over time is massive success. And failure is a few errors in judgment repeated every single day. And eventually that's disaster. So start with little disciplines and keep yourself consistent by constantly focusing on steps 1 through 5. So let's review real quick. Number 1 is pick some areas in your life where you need to raise your standards. Number 2, come up with reasons. Write the standards you want to raise, come up with reasons why. What will it do for you, your family, your income, your success, your happiness, your future? 3, create rituals of how to raise those standards. 4, come up with some role models, figure out people who you can emulate, and then 5, carry it out with relentless discipline, and you will start seeing some change in your life and in your future. And I'm going to read this quote from Michael Jordan. He says, "It's my standards that make me successful. Every day I demand more from myself than anybody else could expect of me. I'm not competing against somebody else. I'm competing with what I'm capable of." That we can all take with us. He's not competing against other people. He's competing against his potential and what he's capable of. And he was one of the only athletes to do that at a high level, and that's why he became one of the best. So I challenge you, raise your standards and really start expecting more from yourself, and you'll start seeing some great success. Hope this helps. Comment below, let us know your thoughts, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya.